Hello and welcome to the online version of Speech 2050 for summer 2017. My name is Joe Bellin. I'll be your instructor for this course. And what I'm going to do today is just briefly go through the syllabus with you. Now, the syllabus is available on iCollege, as will be everything else during the course of this semester. If you haven't used iCollege before, or if you've just used it very briefly, you're going to want to familiarize yourself with how to use iCollege, because absolutely everything that we do is going to be conducted on iCollege. That means quizzes, tests, lectures, assignments, all that sort of thing. All of that will be done on iCollege, and so make sure that you check that out as soon as possible if it's not something that you've already had a lot of experience with. So the syllabus is available on iCollege in a module that's called Syllabus very easily. And I'm not going to go through every single part of this, but I do want to explain sort of how the course is going to work, and I'm going to want to just point out a couple of things on the syllabus for you as we go on. Now, that is all my contact information at the top. Emailing me is definitely the best way to get in touch with me. My office hours are Tuesday and Thursday from 10 to 11. However, I am not going to be there unless I know you're coming. Right? If no one has set an appointment with me, then I might not be in my office. I might be somewhere else on campus, or I might be someplace else in the building. If you want to come see me, then you need to email me at least 24 hours beforehand to let me know that you're going to come. And if, by the way, if those office hours don't work for you, email me and say, hey, your office hours aren't good for me, and then give me 3 or 4 times during the week that you might be able to meet, and we will find a time to meet. I will definitely be available to you should you need me. But the easiest way to get in touch with me is definitely by email. Occasionally, people get a little confused because they will email me and I won't respond. That usually happens because your email doesn't seem like it requires a response. So if you want me to respond to you, make sure that you say, hey, please respond to this email. Because every once in a while, folks just send me an FYI kind of email and I don't realize they want a response. So make sure that you do that, and I will make sure that I get back to you in as quick a fashion as possible. All right, I'll let you read the course descriptions and objectives and all that kind of stuff. About how to contact me, definitely, when you email me, definitely put Speech 2050 in the subject line. I actually get more spam in my university account than I do in my regular account, so it's easy to ignore stuff if I don't know who you are. All right, and yeah, don't try to contact me using iCollege's email function. I don't pay attention to it. It's a terrible email system, believe it or not, worse than our university system, and so don't try to contact me that way. You'll need to access iCollege. I've already explained that. I'll let you read the deadline stuff. What I do want to, as well as the rules from on high, I will put the university policy on academic honesty in the syllabus module directly. So if you have any questions about that, you'll be able to access it there, and you can also access it via that link that I have provided, which all of us are required to provide for you. All right, let's talk about how this is going to work. First of all, there's a required textbook. You do need the 10th edition of the textbook. Now, there's a 2016 update, which is ideally what you should use, and that book has been out for a while. So you should definitely be able to get a used version of it. If you want to get a version of a previous version of the textbook for even less money, make sure it's the 10th edition. The 9th edition is substantially different, and the 10th edition is what you're going to want. Now, obviously, you should use the 2016 update when you can. If I provide you page numbers, they'll be referencing that. So use that edition. Now, can you use an online version of the textbook? Absolutely, as long as it's the 10th edition. Right? Some people have had great success with their online stuff. I have never been that big of a fan of it, but you should have no problem with it. It's the same material. You can use an online version as long as, or an ebook, as long as it's the 10th edition. We don't have attendance. But that does mean that you're going to need to turn your assignments in on time. I'll talk about sort of the first one that I'm going to do in a minute. It's a syllabus quiz. At the end of the class, we're going to have an assessment thing that is an extra credit thing that will ask you to do to help us assess the course. Now, you'll just be given credit for doing it. So it's not a test on how well you learned the course material. It's just us trying to get a grip on how well the course is going, what we might need to improve, that sort of thing. So look for that. It won't become available until later in the semester, and you'll have links to it then. I won't even open up the assessment option until near the end of the semester. So pay attention to that. I'll talk about the way that the rest of the class is going to be structured here in just a second. And um, let me talk about grades for just a minute. All of your grades add up to 1,000 points, and that includes your assessment and meme assignments are extra credit points, which I'll talk about in just a second. And those are not within that 1,000 points. What I do is I add up all of your points, whether it's for quizzes or exams or anything like that. And at the end of the semester, I add all of that up, and then I add your extra credit. I divide everything by 10, and then that results in this scale that you're used to down here. Now, my scale is just a little bit different. It's a little kinder. It's a little clearer than your average scale. So just check that out. If you have any questions about this, just let me know. I do have a couple of extra credit assignments. The assessment thing is extra credit. That'll give you 50 points. There'll be a meme assignment available later on in the semester, and that will be another 50 points. So it's kind of like an extra 10 points of extra credit that you can earn throughout the course of the semester in different times. And again, I'll contact you when the meme assignment's available. I'll contact you when the assessment's available. That stuff will all be really easy. So check out the way the grades are broke down. There's a syllabus quiz, and you need to do that in the next couple of days. If you're listening to this on Monday the 5th, you need to do it by the 7th, I believe, is the deadline. So make sure that you do that. The syllabus quiz isn't worth a lot of points, but it's really important for me because it's the way that I will know whether you're actually paying attention and attending the class the way that you should. All right. There are a bunch of quizzes that I will talk about in just a minute, and I call them Know Your Readings because they're quizzes about your readings. And the first quiz will be 20 points, and the subsequent quizzes will be 40 points each. So that's a total of 220 points, which you'll notice is almost as much as your midterm exam. So doing the quizzes on a regular basis is something that you'll need to do in order to do well in the course. It's a very important thing. That stuff's all on iCollege, and I'll show you the deadlines here in just a second. The midterm exam, it will also be on iCollege. It'll be 260 points. It'll be all multiple choice and possibly a couple true false, but it'll be fairly straightforward. I will have review sheets for that up directly. There will be a news assignment. There's 2 of them actually, and I'll post the assignment sheet for that pretty soon, also on iCollege. You won't really be able to start doing them for a little while anyway, but I'll post that as soon as it's possible, and it's not actually due until the end of the semester. So pay attention to that. The final exam is 400 points. It'll be semi-cumulative, which means that the review sheet will have a list of the topics that you should study since the midterm. The review sheet will also contain a list of topics from the midterm that will be on the final. So it won't be completely cumulative. It'll just be a little bit cumulative. All right, this is the grading scale. Like I said, I tend not to round up unless something's above, like, if you're talking about the difference between a 96.9 and a 97, if you had a 96.91, I would round it up. But if you have a 96.9, I'm not rounding it up. So 97 and above is an A+. 96.9, you get the idea. All right, here's an overview of the class. Now, I just want to give you a sense of what I'm doing here. I've got a general class overview on this page, and it's pretty short. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But there's a more detailed class overview on the next page, and it gives you everything that you might want to know. It's a little bit longer, and it tells you what chapters we're studying when. But the class overview I gave you because I want you to get a sense of how the class is working, okay? So you'll notice June 5th, the syllabus quiz is due June 7th. That's when the syllabus and introduction is available. June 6th, I will have our podcasts, which is what I'm calling my lectures, and the quizzes about those lectures and about the chapters that we're studying for those lectures is due on June 11th. On June 12th, you will start to have those second week podcasts available. And the quiz about those podcasts and those chapters will be due June 18th. So basically what's happening is every week I am giving you, at the beginning of the week, a series of lectures that will be available to you online. And then there will be a quiz at the end of the week, more or less every week, that covers those things, right? So each week is broken down into a number of different chapters, a number of different lectures, but there's one quiz at the end of each week to cover the material that we've had in that week. Here's where the midterm exam is due. July 4th is a holiday, obviously. And this is where the final exam is available here. Now, This is the detailed version of this. So that was the overall version. This is the detailed version. You'll notice on June 6th, these two chapters are what we're going to talk about. Those are the two podcasts that I will have up for you. And then the Know Your Readings quiz is due on June 11th. The June 11th quiz covers chapters 1 and chapter 10. On June 12th, I'm going to make these three chapters available to you, 8, 9, and 14. Those three podcasts will be available on June 12th. The quiz over those chapters will be due by June 18th. Now, let me explain something to you really quickly. Let's say on June 12th that you listen to all these three podcasts and you read all these three chapters and you get all of that done in one day and you want to take the quiz at the end of the day on June 12th. You're perfectly welcome to do that. You don't have to wait until June 18th to take the quiz. The quiz will be made available to you on the same day that the podcasts are available to you. So at the beginning of the week, the quiz is available. The chapters you can read anytime on in your book. The podcast will be available to you online, and you can take the quiz whenever you're done with those things. But just remember, the second quiz right here covers these three chapters, 8, 9, and 14. The first quiz covers chapters 1 and 10. The third quiz covers chapters 4, 5, 11, and 7, right? So you want to make sure that you've completed all the chapters that are listed for that particular week before you take the relevant quiz. It's pretty simple. I'm quizzing you at the end of the week about chapters and podcasts that you've done at the beginning of the week. Now, a word of warning and caution. Some people think that they can take the quizzes just by listening to the podcast and not by reading the chapters. That is not correct. The quizzes are oriented around the chapters. Now, some of the stuff in the quiz will be about the podcast, but there will be a couple of questions in the quiz that I do not cover in the lectures. So you need to make sure you've read the lectures and you've got the chapter that you've read, or that you've listened to the lectures and you've got the chapter that you've read available to you. And the quizzes are pretty easy to do if you've got that stuff available. Some of the quizzes ask very specific questions, and you'll want to have your chapters available. You'll want to have listened to the podcast already before you take the quiz. All right, so I hope that's clear. The midterm exam is here. The last day to withdraw is June 30th, and the final exam will be available on these 3 days. Now, when it comes to the exams, just pay attention. The midterm exam is available from early in the morning on June 26th till basically midnight on June 27th, right? And the same thing is true over here. The final exam will be available from July 26th all the way up to midnight on July 29th. And you can take it any time that you want to during that period of time. It gives you a little bit of flexibility, but do realize you only have one opportunity to take the midterm, the final, any quiz, right? So make sure that everything goes well. Now, this is an online course, and as a result of that, we have to deal with technology, and as you know very well, if you've had any experience at all, technology can go wrong and screw us up at any time. If you have trouble with an online quiz, with an online test, with an assignment, with anything in the class, please let me know the minute that it happens, okay? If you have a problem with a quiz and then you wait a week to tell me, I will be less sympathetic to helping you out. If you have a problem with the quiz and you let me know quickly, I will go in and I'll fix the problem for you. I'll make it better. We are all struggling with the same technology, so it sometimes takes me a minute to get around to fixing things because I have to teach myself how to do it. I've been teaching online for a while now, and I'm still encountering new ways that the system can creatively screw up. So just be aware of that. It's something that I expect us to encounter. As long as you communicate with me in a timely fashion, I'll be really, really easy on you. If you wait a long time, not so much. All right. That's all I really want to talk to you about today. The syllabus quiz is available the minute the class is supposed to start, and it should be really easy for you to answer all the questions on the syllabus quiz accurately and get a very good grade. I hope all of you do well in the class. Again, if you have any questions at all, feel free to contact me. I'm available almost all the time. If you do email me on a weekend, maybe Monday before I get back to you, but I try to be available as much as possible. Good luck, and I hope you enjoy the class.